To introduce you, there's the Grammy Award-winning superstar, all this. You know what, though? I was walking my dog. You're the dog whisperer of bass. Do you know Cesar Milan? Have you guys collaborated before? Because
I'd love to. I'm a fan. I watched the show. I've used different things that he does on my dogs.
Really?
And, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just thought that was the perfect way. So I'm going to have to call you the bass whisperer maybe a little bit.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Very cool. I'll take that.
Your holistic approach, it does mimic that type of education. How did that come about? You said before that there was just a need. You felt a need for a more complete musical awareness. Wonder.
Well, I know. I just felt that people were leaving lots of things out and lots of good stuff out when it came to teaching music. It seemed like the things that would really make people individuals. People weren't talking about that. We were just kind of talking about the same few points over and over that's supposed to make us all great musicians.
Do you really think that everybody can become a musician?
Oh, absolutely. The same way everyone can play basketball. Not everyone's going to be Michael Jordan. Not everyone's going to be a Pat Metheny or a Bela Fleck, but can everyone be a musician? Absolutely. And that's one of the main problems in our musical system is that as teachers, we decide what a musician is or how it has to be played. But a baby is musical.
The analogy of learning one's native language helps him explain what he sees missing from music education today, primarily the obsession with notes and the neglect for other crucial elements. He stresses individuality in musicianship.
And think about it, from day one, you were never really taught how to speak this language. You were just encouraged and allowed to speak it. And most of the time as a baby, you were speaking incorrectly. If we were to put rules to it, you were speaking wrong. But no one cared, no one corrected you, and no one made you practice. So how in the world did you ever learn this language if you weren't made to practice, you weren't corrected, and everyone that spoke to you was better than you, And that's exactly how you learned it, and you learned it with your own voice. And it's because of those reasons. No one corrected you, no one ever told you you were wrong, and no one ever made you practice. What people did, to use a musical term, is people jammed with you. The English language, you jammed all the time. And as a baby, no one stuck you in a room with other babies and said, hey, you can only talk to other babies until you're good enough, and then you get to talk to me. That's what we do musically, but we didn't do that with our language. We spoke to you, even as a baby. And when you spoke incorrectly, we didn't chastise you. We didn't smack your hand. We cherished you. We celebrated the fact that you spoke wrong. We thought it was cute.
I wanted to know what got Victor thinking this way in the first place. Where did he come up with all of this? I guess I was hoping for a life-altering event of some kind that he could tell me, if there was anything like that. And there kind of was. He revealed that a character and story in his book were based on a real-life experience. His friend J.D. Blair's eye-opening drum solo in particular got him thinking a bit differently.
J.D. was the inspiration for this drummer who took a solo with, 99% space, which was an eye-opening thing. And that was taken from a real incident that happened in the early 90s in Nashville, Tennessee.
He played 99% nothing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He had been grooving so hard, supporting everybody else's solos, that when it came to take his drum solo, J.D. literally stopped playing, literally. And the whole audience came to a halt. The waiters and waitresses stopped what they were doing. Everybody turned in that direction, and the whole room was still grooving. But he wasn't playing the drum. Now, he was playing music. Now, understand this. Think about a basketball team, right? And there's 10 people on the court. Only one person has the ball at a time. But it doesn't mean 10 people aren't playing the game. Right? When someone is speaking and they stop speaking, you're still listening. If they pause for a moment, it doesn't mean they're not talking. right? So a lot of us forget that space is not only a part of music, but an important and necessary part of music. And it's a part that none of us teach and none of us practice. And JD had it mastered. He took a solo with space. And after maybe 2 bars, he hit one cymbal, you know, right on the beat. And it just like punched you right in the chest. And then he sat for another few bars. And after, you know, whenever he was ready, he was done. And he came back in with the groove. And people flipped out. I flipped out. I was standing next to him on stage. I'd never seen anything like it. And you know, that's what kind of drove me down this path. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I have to learn this. I have to explore this. You know, that's an important stuff. And I don't know any of us music teachers that teach it.
It's obvious that Victor Wooten has given education and learning a lot of thought, and he reveals quite a bit about music as a whole. So I asked him if it was immature to practice simple imitation. You know, what about that one person who just wants to be able to play that one song and that's it? I figured they'd be missing out on the rest of it, right? Well, not so.
That is totally fine. What ends up happening is people try to turn my non-rules approach into a rule, you know,
yes.
As oh, wow, this is a new method. And it's not a new method. That's my whole point. Because a little kid is always going to emulate and imitate his older brother or Michael Jordan or LeBron James or whoever. You know, that's part of it. That's how we grow. I imitated and emulated my older brothers as a kid, and that's how I got good quickly. That is the way we learn, right? But it's when we classify it and put it in a box and say that imitating me or imitating this person is the way that it has to go down. We have to learn this method. To me, that's when it's a problem. But I have no problem at all with imitation.